Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling to order the Monday.
They can hear us. They can hear us.
They can hear?
He's not.
Okay. Today is the Monday, May 24th meeting of the St. Joseph County Public Library Board of Directors. To determine a quorum, I will call each member and please let me know that you are here. Do we have Sally online?
I'm not seeing her. I checked my email and she didn't send me a message or anything.
Okay, well then we'll just do it with who's here. Marvin?
Here.
Alan?
Here.
Augie?
Here.
Terry?
Here.
And I am here, so we've determined that we do have a quorum.
So technically, until Sally gets on, Jim, until Sally gets on, can we just dispense with roll call until Sally joins?
I'm having a little trouble hearing you. What did you just say?
Oh, never mind. I was going to say, until Sally gets on, can we just do with it? Can we eliminate roll calls? But Sally's joining now anyway, so never mind. Forget it.
I got it.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you a little better now. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
here, it looks like the microphone is right here. All right,
No, I've got one here.
we're good. Okay, Sally, we just did roll call, so if you would please affirm that you are here.
Here.
Materials. Okay. good to
Sorry,
see-
I was in a case conference, a little bit late getting here.
We're perfect. Thank you. Next on the agenda are our library minutes. You all received a copy of the minutes. Is there any questions, changes, or discussions?
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. And any further discussion? Hearing none, we will do a roll. Sally?
I wasn't at the last meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Marvin?
Here. Yes.
Alan?
Yes.
Augie?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And I also approve. The minutes are approved. With that, we will move to the director's report.
Okay, I'm going to start out with the patron engagement statistics report and ask Jenny to cover that. And Jenny, you may want to step up to a microphone just so they can, I'm not sure how well they can hear you if they're online. Over right, Alan, and right here.
Right here, I'm talking to,
Right here.
all right, so I have, we have the latest version of the engagement statistics. And the big change this time is we added in a branch report. So that's actually on the third page. And the fifth page has those in raw numbers also, so you can look at it both ways. And so with the patient engagement, we pulled out 5 statistics to measure. You'll notice there's not a lot of comparison. So, and that's largely because we're in April. And this time last year in April,
Zero.
things were shut down. So we have physical material circulation. And the reason that this number doesn't have a comparison with the previous year is just because it does not include digital. So all of our circulation in April of 2020 was in digital circulation, and we don't break that out by branch. So if you want to sort of see, to understand how circulation in total is doing compared to last year, you would refer to the first page, the physical materials circulation, and physical and digital circulation. But hopefully this will give you a glance at how different services are panning out across the system. So materials, gate count, Wi-Fi usage, computer minutes used, and it really does show some of the distinctions between what some of the branches are doing. So you see a lot of physical materials circulating at Francis branch, but in computer minutes used, branches like LaSalle, Western, and Tutt have pretty high minutes used. And that kind of tracks with our understanding of how services are. We also have a re-engagement of inactive cardholders by branch. And this is showing patrons who had ceased using the library for about a year, and where are they across the system that they're coming back to being engaged with the library. Otherwise, the other reports are the same, except we made some of the numbers bigger and the lines more bold. So we're hoping to improve the readability on these, but I'm happy to answer any questions, or if we have some areas that we want to address for the next round.
So Jenny, in the page 30 of the board packet under gate count, So Francis Branch is got almost 8,000 patrons, which is at least more than 2,000 more than Center, which is, which is another couple thousand more than, I guess, River Park. So, but at 8,000, is that, do you have any sense of how does that compare with what we would have seen pre-COVID?
Oh, I mean, I don't know the exact.
I guess what I'm wondering is that a situation where at some point, a couple of years down the road, if we're looking to expand or do something, I mean, you see where circulation is more than double at Francis and circulate, gate counts more than double. Is that, I mean, how are they doing space-wise and everything? I went to an event there, and I know the group room was like, they had, I think the fire marshal actually closed it because there were too many people there, but what do we think?
I think the branch itself is fine, and we're not at capacity within the branch. I think you're right about the group rooms. We've had several, I think, events where we maxed out the space. So that's something to think about, I think, in the future. But we're looking to try and answer your question about numbers of people. We would have had door counts before, but we're tracking it in a little different way now than we were prior.
And that might be helpful when you're putting these together for us, because I know several of these I can kind of tell which is pre-COVID versus COVID, but maybe when you're showing statistics, if you can have us get a sense of, kind of what things were, so we can kind of see.
Yeah.
Because some of these, because like this was comparison a period of time last year when there was already COVID, so we didn't actually go back that far.
Yeah.
It might be helpful.
I think, I think that would be, we can add in those indicators, because if you look at this first part, the physical material circulation, so it's this one.
Right.
And with most of them, you can see that we've started to surpass the levels we were seeing in COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have we returned to normal? No. But are we sort of gaining ground on, the traction we lost during COVID? Yes. And I think that's kind of the piece that's missing, is we can compare to COVID times, but how does this compare to a more normal, pre-COVID situation? And we can sort of add that in for the next graph.
Right. Might make sense.
And we'll certainly be seeing that in the weeks to come with mask wearing optional. And I'm assuming ours will be back to normal.
Our hours are back to normal right now. We're in the process of putting the furniture back into the branches. I mean, the furniture was there, but we had some of it cordoned off. And so that's all going to go back by the first week in June. So we'll be pretty close to normal, I think. Yeah, Marvin.
This is just a normal question about the tax preparation. Since the deadline was in May rather than April, was there an increase in people using the library or?
For taxes.
For taxes.
That would be, I wonder if Ron said.
I'm not sure about that correlation between door count and
Yeah, I don't know if we necessarily saw anything that we could tie specifically to that, although we do know a lot of people are using, our faxing, scanning, printing for those sort of services.
Most of the tax assistance was virtual this year, was it not, Rana? So they weren't there in person.
Okay.
So that makes it hard to correlate.
they brought in their documents to be scanned and they were doing remotely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give you just a quick main library update. You've got a fairly full agenda this afternoon, so I won't take a lot of time. There's a lot of finished work going on at Main Library right now in the library proper. The ceiling tiles are getting installed and carpeting is going in on the 3rd floor. So that will kind of finish off the 3rd floor. And then they're moving down to the 2nd floor with carpeting as well. And the house facade in the children's area is starting to get finished. So there's a lot more taking shape, I think, on the 1st floor. By the next board meeting, the monumental stair terrazzo should be in. And after the terrazzo goes in, then the glass will go in underneath that. So that stair will then get to a fairly finished state. And in the annex, the two-story glass window that you see at the corner of Michigan and Wayne is getting ready to go in. And we're really excited to see that go up because that's going to make a major difference in that space. So a lot to see, a lot in progress, and masonry is going on. If you buy there, the masons are working diligently. But then I wanted to move into schedule, even though we are moving, the interiors are pretty much on schedule. The masonry is still lagging a little bit. Billy and Andrews have been working intensely with all the contractors to kind of firm up the schedule and get a look at where we are. But it's looking like a revised completion date, probably late in October. And I was thinking it would be early October, maybe even September, but we're looking late October, I think. And it's the masonry that's driving that. So over the next few weeks, we'll be discussing how to stage the move back to main library, whether we can do support staff in stages before we get ready for the big push that moves all the materials back. But we're still on track to have a lot of the interiors done in late summer. So there's going to be a lag between when the masonry finishes up and when the interiors may be ready for us to move some people into it. And our lease with the school corporation ends September 30th. So we'll also need to reach out to them for an extension because we won't be out by September 30th. You have a copy of the letter to the county council recommending the appointment of John Wibbens to the board to replace Augie. And very late last week, we got the news that John has been appointed to the board. So he'll finish out Augie's term. Yeah. So good news on that front. We don't have the paperwork for John yet, but I've let him know about the appointment and his first meeting is going to be in June. So this seems like a good time to just say, Augie, we're really going to miss you and thank you for everything you do.
I was hoping that that's what the bylaws update was about.
To let you stay. You can't flout state law. I'm just, so this is for you. And we have cake that we'd be happy to serve any of you who aren't doing keto. Even Augie, who is doing keto, can.
I certainly would like to have.
Yes.
That's some of those books, that's some of those books that we have been giving away.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
There's one question, okay?
The big window,
The big window.
will it be covered until the opening? Or is the glass
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
shatterproof and all that kind of stuff?
That was beautiful.
It would take a pretty good impact. Glenn is on the call. Glenn, do you want to answer that about?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So ideally, what's going to happen is the frame is going to be installed. Then you're going to have the glass installed. We will probably not drape anything over it, but on the inside, if we have the ability, we're going to probably cover it with paper. The reason we're doing that is we don't want others to wander, you know, what's going on in there. We've had enough related to that we want to make sure that wandering eyes don't see things happening in there. But it will be exposed to the exterior, and as Deb said, it is a tempered glass. You know, if someone shoots at it or throws something hard like a rock or a brick at it, it would definitely break. I'm less likely concerned about that because of the distance of where it's located on the building away from all the barricades around it too.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for our director? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I hear an approval and a second. With that, I'll do a roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry, and I also approve. So the minutes have been approved. Our library board list. Nancy, will you be addressing that?
I spent part of the afternoon trying to find something that I could outline for you from the bill list, but there really is nothing unusual in the bill list. It is 4 million. 2.5 of that is construction funds, and the rest is general fund and gift fund expenditures. But I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I looked through the bill list and didn't see anything that stuck out that was any different. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, I will go for a motion to approve the library bill list.
So moved. Second.
I will call the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry. And I also approve. With that, we also have a gift. Would somebody like to mention the gift from, I think, Target? Is that
Oh, is it Good Coin Foundation?
Is Lisa?
Is that-
Yeah, this is, the gift is from our participation in the Target Circle Community Giving Program. And that ran between January and March. So anyone who shopped at Target and used the app voted for their favorite nonprofit or charity. So we garnered that amount from the program.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve receipt of $1,880.77.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. I will do the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry, and I also approve. So
I'm just curious, do we know statistic wise from the standpoint of like other St. Joe County nonprofits, do we have a sense of I think $1,800, out of pennies from heaven is great, but do we have a sense of how that compares with Logan or some of the other nonprofits in the community and how they fared with this? Or I'm just curious. If you don't know, don't worry about it.
I'm not sure where we placed among the other nonprofits. I could find that information out if you'd like.
It might be interesting just for us to know just kind of how we're perceived, another way of how we're perceived in the community.
Sure, I can find that out.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah,
That might be valuable if we ever have to show.
Yeah, we were either the second or the third. Yeah, we were the second or the third behind the Potawatomi Zoo was first.
Okay, that'd be interesting to know. Yeah.
thank you.
Very cool.
Okay, moving on to personnel changes.
There are a few I wanted to mention. Shaquita Markham, our new HR assistant, just started. We're thrilled to get her on board. She comes to us from IUSB and is diving right in, especially because Kara is going to be leaving us for a little while shortly. So good to have Shaquita. Miles Dillon has just returned from an overseas deployment in the military, and we're bringing him back to the same department that he left, but we're also shifting his job duties around after we had an earlier retirement in that department. So Miles is taking on the responsibilities of the assistant manager. And we're also saying goodbye to Sarah Miner. And I just wanted to mention that because she's retiring this week after nearly 32 years at the library. So we're going to miss her too.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
So move.
Second.
Let me call the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry, and I also approve. Personnel changes are approved. To the best of my knowledge, there were no special library committee meetings in the last month, so there are no reports to report. Do we have anything under unfinished business? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. I don't see Antonia, so who will be doing our report?
Glenn is on the call.
I see Glenn. Hi, Glenn.
For the change orders, Glenn, do you have those?
I don't have all of those, but
Antonia was
I
on
can-
a minute ago.
was she?
Yeah, she was there. I saw her name.
She might have just called in.
Did she call back?
There's a phone.
I did see her on there for a while. I heard her name.
Send the change orders.
Hello, it's Antonia Winfrey.
There she is.
How's everyone doing today?
We're fine.
Good, you?
Good.
I'm
Anthony
doing
is
great.
on vacation, but
Oh,
she's
okay.
here.
Would you like to run through the change orders?
Let me. And I can check.
Sounds like there's some clipping, Antonia.
Yeah.
So she would be able to give you a lot more detail on all of this. I can kind of give you tops of the trees if that's okay for everyone. You're going to see a couple changes. Made some notes here. Auditoriums. There's one change for the auditorium south doors. We're adjusted. It's the flood doors at the back of that. There's going to be probably about 4 to 5 on there in general. that are dealing with the tech center. You're going to see adds and deducts for the tech center. What we did is we had some VE options in there where we modified some of the ceilings in that to generate some savings for the project. I want to say it was about 20 to 30 was the net overall savings for that. But there's some adds and deducts associated with that. That is spattered through, I think, at least 3 or 4 of these different changes. You're going to see one, I think, that has some millwork changes. It's some changes or credits for millwork at the annex. And then there's some changes that are adds at the cafe after everything got refined and the millwork was adjusted in there for the proper layout. It accommodates for that. There was also, let's see, tech center. One of these had some window repairs to the 3rd floor library. I want to say that it was like PR number 161 or 62. It cleaned up some of the past damage that was at the windows. They were leaking over the years that no one knew about. So the replacement of those, that included some drywall repair to those. Let's see, elevator alternate. One of them has an elevator alternate, which was, I believe that was cellular phone lines that were attached, or cellular connections that were attached to the elevators as opposed to hardline connections for that. And then there were some AV numbers, AV and low voltage. So AV wiring and AV conduits for the annex building and the community foundation, as well as there was a cost for some data at the community foundation once that was all finalized. I think.
Can I say, for the purpose of the minutes, that all board members did receive the complete packet of every change order? And if there's nothing else, I can run through the change for each specific contractor and a brief explanation of what was done.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. So here is the summary of the change orders. E.J. White for an increase of $6,554, which included annex 3rd floor casework, cafe, community foundation, kitchenette, and workroom. Fagley Landscaping, an increased change of $26,879 for landscape alternate paver base. Goff had a deduction of $7,708. The tech center ceiling, existing 3rd floor windows, annex thin tube details, and drywall modifications. The largest change was Herman and Getz for an increase of $101,023, which included the freight elevator, 3rd floor annex, VE exterior horn strobe, auditorium lighting, conduit for AV, heat pump removal, and community foundation data. The next was Larson Danielson for an increase of $20,233 to manage winter conditions, 3rd floor annex AV. Larson Danielson millwork, an increase of $8,482, which is for the existing 3rd floor windows, annex 3rd floor casework, annex spin tube details, cafe, community foundation, kitchenette, and workroom. Mechanical Concepts had an increase of $9,790 for the tech center ceiling and the wall transfer air grills. Oosterbahn and Son, we had an increase of $1,710.75 for the tech center ceiling, VE, and monumental stair scaffolding. For Shambaugh and Sons, we had an increase of $5,275.75 for the tech center ceiling, VE. Structural Steel Services, an increase of $420 for the auditorium south entry. And last, Zelkowski Construction, an increase of $8,255 for the granite overhang and to manage winter conditions, which brought our total changes for May 2021 to $180,914.50. Any questions?
You did that so well.
Yeah, you did that very well.
Yeah, that was much better than my representation of it. Well done. You're hired for the next meeting.
Oh, thank you.
I can retire now. Thank you.
With these changes, that leaves us a contingency of just over 182,000. So we are eating into it, but we're also, I'm hoping, in the home stretch. So we may overspend that a little bit, but we're in good shape financially. So even if that happens, we're okay.
So I definitely will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Questions? Hearing none. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry, and I also approve. Thank you all. Okay, library board bylaw changes. This is as we move back to normalcy. I understand Attorney Masters will give us a little brief overview of the changes.
Good
Yes.
afternoon.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
You can hear me okay so far?
Yep.
Perfect.
So in the outgrowth or in the follow-up to the governor's executive orders during the height of the pandemic, the legislature adopted or enacted a statute that adopted most of the governor's executive order. As you recall, when the pandemic started, the governor issued his orders. One of the things he did is relieved public bodies of the requirement to meet in person in public to conduct meetings and allowed meetings to be conducted electronically. The former statute that was part of the open door law allowed board members to participate in a meeting electronically, but they could not vote, and a board member participating electronically was not considered present for purposes of a quorum. The statute has been modified so that board members may participate electronically. Now, seems to me there's a little bit of a quirk in the statute, the way it was drafted, at least as it affects the library. As I pointed out in the opinion letter I sent to you with the proposed revisions, the public library law that applies to the library requires the library have 4 members present in order for there to be a quorum. And so you can't possibly have somebody who's not present in person count towards that quorum, even if they're participating electronically. So our bylaws will still say that there must be 4 members physically present in order for there to be a quorum. That statute cannot change the library law that applies to a class one library like the St. Joe County Public Library. Now, the key to this is that the board members must be able to be seen by all other board members and must be able to see all other board members and be seen by the public. I don't know what perspective you have or what Ms. Carlin is seeing, but what I'm seeing is Deborah's elbow and 3 board members. So I think that if we're going to continue to do this, we're going to have to come up with a different way of pointing the camera at the group. Now, maybe when you're not physically distancing, it won't be such a problem. But I think the intent of the law is that the public that's viewing is able to actually see the board members. And we're not seeing all the board members right now. So we're going to have to revise that, or at least the seating chart or something. We can hear everybody.
Do we have the Zoom information?
What's that?
No, I just want to try one thing. Do we have the Zoom information? Was that sent to all of us, the Zoom information?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead and I may go ahead because maybe what we can all do, if we have our computers, we could also Zoom on.
I've got mine on right now.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I may try that.
Okay. Well, I just think it's a matter of the way the camera's pointing. Now, there's a couple of things you have to kind of step back a little bit from this statute, because yes, it says board members can participate electronically, but there's some limitations. First of all, board member cannot participate and vote electronically on matters such as adopting the budget, making a reduction in personnel, initiating a referendum, establishing or increasing a fee, establishing or increasing a penalty, use of eminent domain authority, or establish, raise, or renew a tax, which I think it's really the budget and the tax that are going to be issues for us. But that means when we have the annual budget meeting, there's going to have to be a minimum of 4 members present physically, and anybody who participates electronically, while they can be, participating, they can't vote and they can't deliberate either. I mean, you can watch, you can be physically on the electronic format, but you can't either engage in the deliberation or vote on the budget electronically. So we're going to have to coordinate around that. There is a requirement that the library board cannot prohibit a member from participating in consecutive meetings electronically, except the statute says you can only participate in 2 consecutive meetings electronically. Once you've participated in 2 electronically, then you have to physically attend a meeting in person. And then you can, I guess, miss 2 more. The exception is if you have an excuse because of military service, illness, death of a relative, or an actual emergency. Again, we're just going to have to be aware of that, particularly for people who go someplace warmer during the winter months. Obviously, we can't have more than 3 members participating electronically at any time, or else we won't have a quorum. You cannot participate in more than 50% of the meetings annually electronically. So you'll have to schedule around that too. I've taken the existing bylaws and I've given you sort of an information sheet that shows what has been struck out and what has been added. And then I have actually redone the bylaws for at least that section to be added to part of the permanent bylaws. This resolution would just change Article 7. If you approve the resolution, then I'll put together the entire bylaws with this added to it so that Deborah has it both for the board and for the public. Any questions or anything else I can add or answer?
And Jim, I have a clarification question. This is Terry, who you can't see.
Okay.
I'm the problem child, obviously being gone 3 months.
One of
Does
them.
that mean that the 3rd meeting I cannot even dial in and just observe, or?
Yeah.
Well, of all people, I thought you were going to ask me that. And I think the way this works is you can be like a potted plant. I think you can dial in, you can observe, you can perhaps even partake in the discussion, but you can't vote on anything.
But in the past, he couldn't vote on anything. Pre-COVID, he couldn't vote anyway. So now he can at least vote on 2 of the 3, but not the budget.
Right. The one thing the statute doesn't say is what happens if somebody's at their 3rd meeting electronically and they want to participate. And I think the answer is you cannot participate in the terms of deliberating on the vote or actually voting. But I don't think it prevents you from tuning in, observing what's going on, and perhaps even adding to the discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Jim, I thought you did an excellent job with this.
Thank you.
It was not easy to parse through that and look at our bylaws and those provisions and piece it all together with the statute. And I thought you did a superb job. So you and your team are to be commended for a job well done.
Well, thank you. I'll pass that along.
Yeah, please
Thank
do.
you. Any other questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the library board changes as presented by Attorney Masters.
So moved.
There's actually a resolution to be voted on and adopted.
Okay. So is that how we need to word?
I think what you would do is vote to adopt a resolution to amend Article 7 of the bylaws as it's been presented to you.
Okay,
I see that.
So I move we approve the resolution that's set forth on page 114 to, begin 114 to 119 of our board packet. So I move that we adopt the resolution.
second?
Second.
Okay, yes, thank you. All right,
This is interesting because this brings up another point. This resolution is to be signed. And
Yes.
so for those of you who are physically present, you can sign it. One of the changes in this statute that wasn't germane for this topic allows electronic signatures. So Ms. Carlin, if she so chooses to vote to approve, she can authorize you to put her e-signature on this document.
Jim, we've been using electronic signatures since the start of the pandemic, so.
so we've been
they've all been
doing the
signed.
DocuSign.
Yeah,
So Jim, do we need to, at perhaps next meeting, you don't have to answer that. You might want to consider if we need to make any changes to the bylaws ongoing to, or can we just use it?
I looked for that. We don't have a specific provision in the bylaws concerning signatures on anything, let alone e-signatures.
So if it's easier for them to just send it, circulate for us later by e-signature for everybody, that's fine with you?
Sure.
Okay, so however y'all want to do it.
Okay, so we'll just look for our DocuSign document. Perfect. Okay. Did I do the vote or just?
You just got to, no.
Okay, thank you. I will do a poll now. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry, and I also approve, and we will sign on the DocuSign document that will be forwarded to us after the meeting. Next, the Ramsey additional service request. Who will be discussing that?
yes, you have some additional service requests from Ramsey, and these are for architectural changes that we have requested, that we actually requested after construction documents were drafted or after sometimes even bids had been awarded. So I'll just walk you through them really quick. The first one is door and hardware set revisions and security drawing revisions. We went through, once we had done a first pass of all the doors, Trish, who is on the call, spent a lot of time going through with the architects and the door companies, a thorough review of the doors and all the hardware that goes with them. They're fairly complicated, and ultimately we saved a lot more by doing this. We value engineered a lot of things than this is costing us. Security changes were a lot the same. We made those changes after construction drawings were completed, after we really looked at what camp needed to go, and again, bounce those back. So that change is $19,550. The movable stairs at the auditorium, those stairs were originally not in the auditorium at all. We were only going to have a side approach through the wings. And once we really started looking at auditorium drawings and thinking about how that was going to work, we wanted to be able to have a front approach, both for performers and if we were doing any award ceremonies or anything else where people could come up the front of the stage instead of entering from the side. So these stairs are designed to be moved. What we anticipate is that they will stay in place all the time unless they're specifically requested to be taken out. So they are movable, but not so much. Had to design all of that, and so that's an add of $6,300. And then the cafe and kitchen. Finally, as we worked out how the cafe was going to operate, we needed to make some changes to the layout to accommodate all of the equipment. It proved to be amazingly complicated to figure out how to get the espresso machine and the coffee grinders and everything else that has to go into a very small space. And we ended up having to do a lot of reconfiguring on the cabinets as we worked this out. So that was another add of $6,490. Total add to services is $32,365.
Any questions?
Can you describe the stairs? Are they just the movable stairs? I've seen it, I've used them before, so.
They are going to not look like a movable stair, but they can be removed. So they have a handrail.
Okay, yeah.
The option was that if we put a stair in the front approach, we also might have had to add a lift, which is why the stairs are movable. They're not permanent. We thought a lift would spoil the look of the auditorium, and we have ramps on the side approaches, which will accommodate handicapped people. So rather than put the lift right in the front and block some things, we added the stairs. It was a workaround.
That's what we
I
got.
think they're gonna be fine. I think you won't really realize that they're not meant to be permanent.
So there's like 5 steps.
It's not even that many, because it's not a really high.
It's
step.
just not, yeah, it's not the high
Yeah,
stage.
it's just a couple of steps.
I think it's about 3 rises, Deb. And then it matches the architectural features of the stage as well. So it
Yeah.
definitely ties in. So it shouldn't look like your typical layout stairs. It'll look like it was a thought out process.
Yeah, we talked about doing it as an afterward and realized that it would look like it was an add-on. And this way, I think it's going to look like it's a part of what's going on in that auditorium.
Other questions? I would like to entertain a motion to approve the Rams additional service requests.
I'll approve.
Okay, I got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, with that, I'll do the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie, Terry, and I also approve. So that is approved. Next was the notice to bidders for computer equipment and peripherals. The approval to release bid specifications.
Sarah's going to handle that.
Sarah,
It's been a long time,
you're
but,
gonna have to speak loud.
oh, hello.
Hello.
It's been a long time since we've done one of these. It's probably predated, I think the last one was 2014. But we have such a large order of computers for the main library, both for staff and for patrons, that we have to do it in notice for bidders. So what you're seeing here is replacements for our computers. We usually do a 4-year replacement schedule with some efficient plans. This is for 5 or 6 years. So that's kind of.
We're going now because we're a little concerned about whether we can get all the equipment in a timely way. The shortage of chips.
Is this in the budget?
Yes.
I move we approve the notice to bidders for computer equipment and peripherals. Just to put.
After a second, then we can ask questions. Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, questions?
Yes. I'm looking at page 141, although you don't have to go there. And Sarah knows what I'm asking already. On the airbooks, we assigned this at 256 gigabytes. And I don't know about the rest of it, that doesn't go so far anymore. And I'm just wondering if we're cutting ourselves short by staying at that rather than going up to the 512, for instance, like the.
I think we're okay, actually. We do most things on the cloud, so we don't need that much.
Good question. Thank you very much. What is the normal gigabytes, megabytes?
That's about normal.
Okay, okay. Other questions? Hearing none, I will
Gaming stuff.
poll for a vote. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
Terry, and I also vote aye. So it is approved. I understand we got a few grants. So Lisa, do you want to tell us about the 2 grants? I think it was 2 grants.
I think it's.
4.
Okay,
We got 3 grants.
3, okay.
Yeah, the Community Foundation awarded us the Spring Quick Start 21st Century Scholar Success Grant in the amount of $700. In June, we're partnering with Venues, Parks and Arts to host a series of family-friendly outdoor events at 6 area parks over 6 days. And we'll include a table each day with information about the 21st Century Scholars Program. And we'll be enrolling 8th grade students in the program. And we're going to use the $700 to purchase Target gift cards, which we'll give away to students who enroll for the program. And then the Teachers Credit Union Foundation has awarded us a $5,000 grant to support the main library block project. And that'll go towards interior enhancements such as shelving, equipment, and furniture. And then finally, we received from United Way of St. Joseph County, they awarded us $2,400 to fund 3 story walks at local parks. Story walks are a popular program that features a picture book in a park. Each page of the picture book is laminated, adhered to a stake, and then placed along an outdoor path. And we've already successfully offered this program at several local parks. This summer, Story Walks will center on the theme of self-healing, and it'll be offered at parks near neighborhoods with vulnerable populations.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve our grants?
Moved.
Thank you. Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, I will poll the board members. Sally?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Terry? And I also approve. Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the library board resolution to declare excess withdrawn library materials. Do I hear a motion?
On behalf of Christine,
That's
approve the April 2021 materials declared excess for sale to the Friends, right?
And the computer equipment declared as excess.
On behalf of Christine, I second.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I will poll members. Sally?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
Terry? And I also approve. Do I hear of any other business? None? Are there any visitors present?
Well, I'm sorry, did I miss something? Were you
Uh,
going to do notice to bidders for the computer equipment?
We did it. We approved it.
You did it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, we did that.
okay. I must have spaced out. Thank you.
That could not happen, James. Okay, no other business, and we have no visitors present. Any news or educational items that you wish to highlight?
Last month, you approved 2 new manager positions, and they're both here today. One is on the call, the other one is here in present. So Jenny, would you like to introduce your folks?
Yeah, so on the call is Marissa Gebhardt. She's our new communications manager. She's been with us for about a month already.
Pretty close, yeah.
She's run running and doing a fantastic job taking over all of the, you know, how complicated and how many things we have to tell the public about, and she's done so with grace and energy. So I am personally so appreciative of her. Marissa, and we also have Eric Simon, who is our new education and programming manager. And he is taking the reins on designing and organizing our programming, both the current, 80 some plus programs we have planned for over the summer, and then also thinking about fall and beyond. So also extremely grateful to have his help and experience.
Well, on behalf of the board, we welcome both of you to your new positions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'm curious here. So I went ahead midway through the meeting and I went ahead and just connected via Zoom. So I'm here in the meeting, but I'm also, people can see him. I'm wondering if it might make sense, if we're going to continue to have people participate in Zoom, if we've got the computer equipment and if the bandwidth will support it, then maybe board members, we can all either have our own, or if we don't have our own, we can just connect like I did. Or if we don't do it, maybe y'all could have some extra computers. And then the audience, instead of pointing it at us, they could point it at the audience. And then maybe we need, and if we did that, so everybody can hear everybody for the statute, we might, I don't know if we'll get feedback if we use our own, or if
Yeah,
not,
well,
we may need some more remote, we may need some more of these if we're gonna be socially distanced, if we could accommodate those, or space them out better so that, whatever. And then it'd be helpful probably too, if we could have an additional microphone so that when one of you all is addressing us, so that the people that are there can hear you, maybe you all can just stand up and approach a microphone, or you can pass a microphone around. And this way, I mean, I think, Jim, in order to kind of go along with the spirit of what our bylaws are saying, if we're really going to do this, and I think we are, and I think we want to, then maybe we need to really try to do it so that, and we've got the technology, we see it works. So maybe we can do something like, or you all can play with it and come up with something better, maybe, I don't know. That's just something just quick and dirty. But,
Thank you. Thank you.
But
Any other issues? With that, let me announce that our next library board meeting will be Monday, June 28th, 2021, 4:15, location here and Zoom.
It will probably be here.
Another hybrid meeting.
If it's all right with all of you, it makes sense to us, especially with the equipment we now have to set up to do Zoom, to keep the meetings here rather than move them around the system until we move back. So if that works, we'll try to get the building a little cooler next month.
It
No
feels
promises.
fine.
I will not be here.
Okay.
You're not gonna be here.
I'll be returning on a flight, so.
All right. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded. Let me poll the members. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Augie.
Nay.
Oh. Terry. And I move to approve. I know that, Augie, we don't want this to ever end either, but thank you for all you've done for the last many years. Sorry be missed.
Here.
With that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Plane lands.